Good morning, everyone. Today we're checking out a brand new video from the film theaters about how they were wrong about the amazing digital circus. Let's hop in and see what they're talking about.
I was wrong about the amazing digital circus. It's been almost a year since we've taken a dive into this series,
Wait,
and
really?
in that time,
Damn.
basically everything I thought I knew about it has been turned upside down. So today, let's see what's gone right and just how much I've gotten wrong.
Yes.
Hello,
let us
Internets!
deep
Welcome
dive.
to Film Theory, the show that's just falling into its archetype. So, I want to be honest with you, loyal theorists.
Skeptical one.
I want to be a little vulnerable here. It's been just about a year since we've covered the amazing digital circus, and that hasn't been because there's a lack of things to talk about. If you
God
don't
knows,
know, the
so
amazing
much.
digital circus is the smash hit success from Glitch Productions created by the talented Gooseworks. We did several theories about it over the years, but 3 new episodes have dropped since our last theory.
Oh,
All of
yeah.
them great, by the way. But we haven't done another theory yet because doing them is a little bit intimidating. This show and the artists who work on it.
Yeah, you could make any theory you'd want about this show, but you will most definitely be wrong considering that, well, you have no idea. But then again, that's the fun of making a theory. You have no idea, so you're just guessing. That's the whole point.
Are full of creative energy. They've thrown out so many ideas that felt like great hooks for theories. So naturally, we grasped onto a lot of them.
Oh,
Admittedly,
that
a lot
hurts.
of the theories we made are a bit out there. I mean, Pomni is an evil AI, and the digital circus is literally hell. Well, given the current state of AI, maybe that's not too far from being realistic. But the point is that we took a lot of big swings when talking about the amazing digital circus. And as you'd expect,
I actually have been talking with a few of my friends, and we've kind of made at least one theory that may end up being true. That Kane, along with Kingo, were one of the first 2 people to actually build the original AI for the amazing digital circus, along with being one of the first few people to actually join in. But something went wrong when Kane's original self joined in, and there was like a misread with his data or something. So instead of generating a new body for him to, pilot around, he instead fused with Kane, creating a sort of Kane virus. That's why he's the ringleader.
with a lot of
just
big
one theory.
swings, some of those were big misses. And oh boy, did the comments sure let us know that. If there's one thing I've learned over the past couple of years with this show, it's that the fan base of the amazing digital circus is incredibly passionate and incredibly protective of these characters. And you know what? I respect that a lot.
We
I
love
get
them.
it. The vibe and tone of the digital circus captured a lot of what I'm sure an entire generation has felt over the past 5 years in a way that I haven't seen in like a decade. That is worth feeling
I actually
protective
have to
of.
agree
But
with
this
that.
is a community and a series that I really
Oh my god, that thumbnail! It's just Kane pulled back to swing. Love it.
do miss. I loved talking about it and I want to make more theories about it. But at the same time, I want to level set. I want to rethink how and why we approach this series and how we theorize about it. So here's what I want to do today, loyal theorists. I want to go back and look at all of our theories about the amazing digital circus. Go through them and look at them with the additional information we've gotten over the past 3 episodes and see if any of them actually hold up. Spoiler alert.
Could be
I think a
anything.
couple of them were really, really solid. And a lot of them, didn't pan out. That is a
bit more
charitable way to
jumbled.
put it. We'll also catch ourselves up on the big revelations the show has given us and see if we can figure out the direction the series is headed using all of this new information. And hey, maybe,
Yeah, we can
just
find
maybe,
out.
we'll figure out the best way to make new theories about this show. Sound good? Well, I hope so. Put your
Let's
ideas in the
dig in.
suggestion box, loyal theorists, as we dive into this new adventure with the amazing digital circus. So just real quick, our first few
ADG,
theories about this
C.
series
Whoops.
actually came out back when Matt was hosting the show, so don't get whiplash if
remember.
you hear his voice while I pull quotes from them. Also, a lot of them were made when we basically had zero knowledge of the show beyond episode 1, so
Yeah, I was just about to say, both of those series, as far as I can remember, were literally made after only the pilot episode had been out for like a week to a month. The actual first adventure episode, I guess you could call it, And it wasn't until MatPat had already stepped down.
I'm probably going to be blasting through a few of them pretty quickly just to save time and help our
Lightning
editors
round.
out. I mean, I can tell by the script link that this video is already very long. Alright, so what's up first?
About average, really, for
Everything
you
in the
guys.
show is literally a video game set in the late 1990s.
Yeah, this one's pretty self-explanatory and also pretty thoroughly debunked. Not only do the
Yeah.
characters talk about technology and use slang from the modern age,
and posting
Jax literally talks about Breaking Bad.
videos of it online.
Ah, a YouTuber. It's kind of cringe.
but there's also a gravestone in episode 3 reading R.I.P. Peggy 2019 to 2022. So,
A
yeah, there
3-year-old?
you go. Maybe the Digital Circus was made in the 90s itself, but the series is more or less set in the modern day.
Definitely.
Though I will
Even
say
I
the
agree.
Digital Circus being a game from the 90s would really help them out with like plenty of product placement, right? Like just think of the gateway PCs or Nokia phones they could get in here. Or hey, what are those? Is that some limited time Grooney Smith Apple
Groonies.
gummies? The partner for today's theory? Why? All right, so which theory is up next?
Pomni helped create this hell simulation that they're currently stuck in.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah.
the idea
No, that's
here
the
was
bunk.
that Pomni was a programmer at CNA, the people we think created the Digital Circus. And
We only know for certain that Kingo was a part of the company. But other than that, okay, Kingo and his wife, Queenie, forgot about her. My mistake, I apologize. Aside from those two, it's up in the air.
our main bit of evidence came from how Pomni reacts to seeing the recreation of the computer and desk with the VR headset while she's running through the back rooms in episode 1. However, just like that first mini-theory, this one is completely debunked. In episode 5, we get a great scene with everyone at a noir-themed bar, and we get a glimpse
I like
at
it.
a lot of their backstories, including Pomni's. Here, she
But not
explains...
I was an accountant for a supermarket chain.
And she ended up in the Digital Circus because...
I sometimes got bored of things, and I would seek out mild thrills, like
By exploring
exploring abandoned
abandoned
buildings
buildings.
and
Yeah,
posting
exactly.
videos of it online.
The implication here is that she broke into the office building, put on the headset, and got sucked into the circus, not that she helped make it. Like, it's a pretty open
Yeah.
and shut case there, honestly.
Shut,
Also,
close,
this
move
explains
on.
the little mental breakdown we see in the backroom section of the circus that Kane created. It wasn't her getting triggered by
Whoa, wait a minute. I just had a random thought. If someone was to re-enter that building again, the CNA building, walk up to that computer and put on the headset, would that do anything? Like, would that somehow free them, or would it just do nothing? Ooh, now I want someone to do that.
workstation, but instead having that mental break, recognizing the building she broke into, and the headset she put on that got her trapped in this mess to begin with. Also, a little bit of a tangent, but I have to say, I loved this little scene at the Noir Bar, just letting the characters talk and learn about each other.
Yeah,
we'll
it
be
was
back
nice.
here to talk about this again, I'm sure about it. Okay, so our third theory from back in the day.
All the characters aren't actually humans trapped inside the Digital Circus.
So the long
That
and
is
short
still
of
up
this,
for
we
debate.
believed that instead of the humans keeping the headsets on as their brains are being used by the circus, Sword Art Online style, they were instead copied and turned into their characters in the cast. Real talk, this
Yeah,
one was a
that's
big
possible.
swing, even back then, and there isn't a ton of hard evidence for it as the series has gone on. Really, the
Well,
biggest
light
piece of
evidence.
evidence that we don't see any bodies attached to the headsets in the real world could just be explained away with cartoon logic. Like, hey, they just got digitized and literally sucked into the computer like
Oh, they got the
Tron or
Tron
Digimon.
treatment.
Don't worry about it. Don't think too hard. The whole idea that they're just digital brain clones is an extra layer of complexity that, at this point, probably would not really make sense for this story since they haven't explored that at all yet.
Yeah,
So yeah,
it-
sure, this theory could
it's a good
still be
debate, at
true, but
least.
there's no real reason for it. Alright, so last up in the era of Matt, we've got...
The amazing Digital Circus is, quite literally, hell.
Yeah, okay, that sentence is still very funny, and this episode was incredible theorist out of context.
Oh, I remember that. That's the theory that somehow said Pomni was going to be Jesus.
Context fodder.
Oh,
Now, to
God.
be clear, this one was always out there, and we knew it. It was more of a fun side thought based on a bunch of parallels with Christian mythology that we noticed. I mean, we even say as much in that actual episode if you go back and watch it. The evidence we pulled
Yeah.
was mostly symbolic.
good, like,
Pomni wears
pun.
the same colors that many depictions of Jesus do. The characters are deliberately arranged similar to the famous Last Supper painting at the end of episode 1. The themes of the show are very similar to
And now I actually remember, like a little meme someone had posted of Jesus ordering a table. Yes, I would like a 26-person table. Oh, you got 25 other people coming with you? No, it's only just me and my 13 disciples. But we need a table for 26 because we're all going to sit on one side. You're crazy, but okay.
To a play called No Exit, where Hell was being trapped with other people that you couldn't stand. You know, that sort of stuff. And I believe that thematically, this theory is still pretty solid. Like, obviously, the circus
though.
isn't literally an embodiment of the Christian hell,
Oh,
but the
definitely
parallels
not.
are clear, and metaphorically, it very much is. And this crazy idea was later validated, even if just a little, by episode 3 of the series. The one
Yeah,
where
that's
Pommy
right.
and Kinger go to a version of hell during an adventure and fight a biblically accurate angel. So
Quote,
yeah,
unquote,
fun idea,
accurate.
thematically on point, but not super serious or relevant to the future of the show. Oh, and a little bit of an aside here, because there's not really a better place to mention this in the rest of the episode, but perhaps the best bit of new evidence for this part of the whole theory? Well, we connected Cain and the company that created the digital circus, CNA, to the
CNA.
biblical figures Cain and Abel. And in the latest episode, there's an interesting moment where Cain pulls out some pictures of the CNA office and just looks at them.
Yeah,
It's a bit
he just
difficult to read his
looks.
exact emotions here because, you know, he's a set of teeth and a pair of eyeballs, but there is some
Actually, yeah. Also, with looking at his eyes, it would also make sense for him to not just be in AI, but in this way, like the original AI fused with the first person to join in. That would be a good explanation for like why there are two different colored eyes. But then again, I guess someone could say, oh, but Kingo has two different size eyes. So does that mean he's also part AI? Yeah. I mean, there's a possibility. It's literally up in the air. Just throw it up and there it goes. You have no idea when it will land, where it will land, or if it will ever land.
sort of recognition. Which, hey, makes sense because he would need to know about these offices to create the backrooms from episode 1. At the very least, we can confidently say that this particular connection between Cain and CNA is a thread that this series will continue pulling.
There
Okay,
is a
so
thread.
that's one of our more
We got
silly
something.
theories down, but what about something a bit more serious? What's next?
Why so serious?
One of these characters in the amazing digital circus is an AI imposter.
Okay, alright. Next up is our theory that one of the quote-unquote human characters is actually an evil AI that's infiltrated the cast to torture them, and the most likely
Yeah.
suspect, Jax. Now, I believed this
We
was
did
the
debate
case for
that.
many reasons, most of which I thought were understandable at the time. First off, it was heavily implied that an NPC had come into the circus at some point.
I know you guys love your NPCs, but if I start losing track of who's a human and who's an NPC, who knows what could happen?
And a lot of time in the episode.
Kane, you could literally just put a tag above their head or something like you do with the hearts in the 6th episode, and it says as a human, NPC, or anything like that. And you could even just stick a tag on their back that they can't remove. Oh, knowing Jax, though, he would somehow find a way to hide it and just start messing with you.
Episodes were spent saying either just how good the AI in the circus has
Okay.
gotten,
I'm testing out a new AI in this one. It should be 57 times more immersive.
or showing just how human a lot of the AI characters like Gummy Goo could act when given the chance.
Doesn't matter in the slightest. I'm nothing. My life, my memories, my friends. It's all fake.
Seriously, this show
Yeah,
was
that's
just
an existential
dripping with
crisis.
the theme that the human characters and the AI aren't actually all that different. And what better way to build on that than with the twist that one of them is an AI? Jax made the most sense to me. He was antagonistic, excited to
Yeah.
go on the adventure so
is
that
a
he
monster.
could torture his fellow castmates. They ignored the laws of physics in ways that the other characters didn't really seem to. Was the only main human character interested in food, something only NPCs were interested in up until that point, and was the only character in the
kinda.
cast outside of NPCs like Cain and Bubble that could break the fourth wall and look or talk directly to the audience. At the time, combined with all of those thematic parallels, I really thought that this one made sense and was going to pan out. But, well, it's very
Yeah.
clearly not the case now that we have more episodes.
Oop.
Most
Sorry, I forgot to silence my phone again before getting back to this.
of those quirks turned out to be just that, quirks. He likes food just because it's something to do and enjoy in this digital world. Being mean to the
Is the
others
flavor
is straight
mimic?
up a character flaw he's taken on himself because he feels like it's his archetype.
We're still people, though, right?
I thought we were at first, but as time goes on, we just end up falling into our archetypes, become part of the machine.
What's your archetype then? The villain?
Man, Pastely would have pointed at
The
this
villain.
line and screamed. See, he's part of the machine. He's basically admitting he's an AI. But Present enlightenedly sees this for what it is. A human character who's been beaten down so much, he doesn't see a point in fighting against
Yeah.
the machine that's assimilating him. Okay, so what about the
Oh, you know what? I bet on karaoke night, Jax would be singing the hell out of Feed feed the machine from poor man's poison.
Defying physics then? Well, mostly that was just for the lulz. And it's not something I think the other characters couldn't do if they really wanted to. See, one of the moments
Yeah,
that really stood out to me in this latest episode was this right here. After getting hurt before the in-house gun adventure, Ragatha starts out with one fewer life than everyone else. But Kinger has a solution.
Oh, I got just the thing.
A healing butterfly.
Take this.
And it was actually because of this episode that a lot of us started theorizing that once you join the circus, you could actually change the code yourself. You don't have to rely on Kane for everything. And from Kingo making this butterfly to Pomni doing a killer trick shot with a simple pistol bullet, we all came up with a theory just simply stating that if you put your mind to it, you can do it in the circus. You want to fly? Bam! Now you can fly. You want to teleport? Boom! You're done. And just literally put your mind to it, and you can do anything.
Wait, what did you just do?
It's a butterfly. It can restore your health.
Exactly.
Did Kane mention that?
Oh, nah. I made it up.
Yeah,
Exactly,
Kinger
see?
straight up made up a new rule in the circus and restored health in one of the games. To me, this isn't saying that Kinger is special or anything like that. This is telling me that the cast have way more control here than they probably think they do. Something also
Exactly.
supported in the previous episode when they could vote on changing the other castmates, like turning Jax into a vegan.
I'm calling a vote. Let's skip this one. And also make Jax a vegan for the rest of the day.
You can't do that.
Yes, we can.
So, all of the physics-defying stuff Jax was doing, it was literally just because he wanted to. Just like the butterfly restoring health, and other smaller things.
Exactly.
Like Jax and Pomni shooting the guns all cool like just because they can. But
Exactly.
more than any of this, the thing that really disproves Jax as an AI, Jax clearly has a human backstory because it seems like he was brought into the circus with a friend, or at the very least became good friends with another character before the start of the series. This character
Right.
was likely named Ribbit, as we learned from a Tumblr post from Gooseworks, and he abstracted just before Kaufmo. We see Jax look at Ribbit's door, sadly,
Twice.
and he becomes upset when anything regarding the character is mentioned. Which, hey, understandable if your best friend basically died right in front of you and there was nothing you could do about it. This
Yeah.
is why he's so detached from the others. Why
I was actually just about to say pretty much the same thing. I think when after Ribbit's obstruction and Jax decide, and who cares anymore? Well, if we're stuck in this place and we're all just going to become our archetypes, why not go ahead and have fun with it? So Jax decided to be the rabbit we all know today.
he didn't
Monster.
attend Kaufmo's funeral. Why he's embraced being the antagonistic funny guy. He just doesn't want to feel this pain again, because if he does, well, we see at the end of the last episode, he almost abstracts and only barely pulls himself back. A
Yeah.
storyline I expect
Just
we'll be coming
seconds.
back to in future episodes. Ironically, this kind of makes Jax the most human character of them all, doesn't it? But that theory wasn't
Kind
alone,
of.
it was part of a pair. So, up next.
Is Pomni from the Amazing Digital Circus an AI imposter?
Ah, yes, of course, one of my more infamous theories here. Pomni is actually an evil AI.
Oh
but hey,
my.
like this one, yeah, they were totally going down this route, dude.
Today, I'm just gonna be evil. Those other fools better watch their tails because they're going to face the wrath of Pomni the Evil!
So cartoonish.
See,
least
that's
he's
why
having
she has
fun.
the evil arc in one of these episodes. I'm not crazy, you're crazy. Okay, no. But for real, this idea was a stretch even back when we made it. I mean, we even said as much in the episode. A big component of this theory was about looking at the science of artificial intelligence, how it works, and then applying that knowledge to the Amazing Digital Circus to see if anything fit. There were
With
some
Kane
cases
Bubble
where
in the
they
box.
kind of did if you squinted a little bit, and combined with the idea from the previous theory that someone was likely an AI, that was the backbone of this one. But yeah, nah,
Yeah,
this is
but
absolutely
that's gone.
not the direction the series went. Outside of looking at the technology of AI, probably the biggest evidence I saw for this was just how much we saw Pomni empathizing with NPC characters like Gummy Goo.
Yeah,
Again, I
exactly,
saw
Gummy
this
Goo.
as Glitch setting up the idea that the AI and humans aren't so different, with Pomni directly as the bridge between the two, but that's just not the case. I feel
It could also be that with each time a human obstructs, Kane uses the code left over, or possibly while they're down in the basement, and to increase and upgrade his AIs. 'Cause, I mean, kind of would make sense. Depending on how many humans have been in the circus and obstructed, Kane would have the access to so many different types of human emotions, backstories, feelings, all of that to where he could literally, well, improve his AI with a snap.
Very confident that Pomni is exactly who she appears to be, a very normal human with the very normal human backstory we've heard in the newer episodes. All of that empathy she was showing Gummy Goo, it was just Pomni being empathetic and setting up those tools of empathy to be used with other characters like Kinger, Ragatha, and Jax later in the show. This is a situation where I really just have to use Occam's razor. This is a philosophical and problem-solving tool that states that the simplest answer is most often the most likely answer. So, is Pomni an evil AI?
The most common.
No,
likely.
She's just an empathetic person. Though I do have to say, it feels like the show is really rubbing both the Jax is an AI and Pomni is an AI theory in my face with this scene in particular.
Daisy.
Just them singing Daisy Bell?
Give me your answer.
Are you seriously gonna start singing that?
I actually did the reason. You know what? I was just about to explain it, but I think they're about to. So, take it away, Lee.
Don't know, this is a song called Daisy Bell, and it's significant because it was actually the first song that was ever reproduced digitally. Yeah, back in 1961, IBM programmed one of their computers to sing it, demonstrating early speech synthesis.
Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer, ooh.
Yeah, this is actually all real. Oh, and this is indeed what it actually sounds like.
And the song was later included as part of the computer character HAL 9000 in 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yep. As he was falling asleep. Well, inactive, whatever you want to say.
Come on, man. This is clearly just a fun little Easter egg, but dude, Castley would have eaten that up as part of those old theories. Alright, so cool. That theory is behind us. What's next?
Need a living host in order to escape the Hall of the Damned, and your bodies will be my only means of doing so.
This is the key to the entire future of this series.
Yeah, it's our theory that the amazing digital circus is actually out to steal your soul. So this one is a bit complicated, but the TLDW, I was trying to piece together what happens to cast members after
too long didn't watch, I get it.
After they abstract, and using the adventures that Kane was coming up with as a sort of rubric for the overall plans of the AI in the circus. Basically, the circus was dehumanizing the human characters.
Could probably
and
see
when
that.
they eventually abstract from that loss of humanity, I thought the raw computing power of their brains was being added to the circus's AI. And the why it was doing this? Well, it was in an attempt to escape its computery prison body. This was represented by the storyline that Pomni and Kinger follow in the spooky haunted house adventure Kane makes, with a dark spirit trying to escape from its hellish prison. Looking back, I actually think that a lot of the pieces we put together here do make a lot of sense given the knowledge of the series we had at the time. So go check out that theory if you want the full context. But
rewatch all of them if you want. It's just for fun.
That being said, with these 3 additional episodes, that just doesn't seem to be the direction that the amazing digital circus is headed. Like, if this was indeed the long-term storyline of the series, we would have seen way more buildup of this idea. But all we've gotten instead was acknowledgement that Kane knows about stuff in the outside world. There really just haven't been any more hidden messages about a deeper AI entity, or any more exploration of abstraction, and whether or not that influences the circus. And if that was the long-term play, we absolutely would have gotten more of it by now. But instead, we're 2/3 of the way through this thing, and that's basically all we've gotten. Instead, this show is...
Oh yeah, shit, there was like only 3 episodes left, and it's over.
Way more interested in exploring its individual characters and their dynamics. Which, hey, leads us to the next theory.
Kinger is going to be a tragic character with a tragic end.
Yep, it's our little character study about Kinger's backstory and his eventual fate in the show. If you missed this one, I believed that Kinger was some sort of bigwig at CNA with a past that he'd...
Not just that, actually, but I had seen like another small theory a while ago about how everything Kane had said from the pilot episode had technically happened in the following episodes. And the next episode is supposedly having something to do with the disease, but the one after that is another death. So Kingo may, well, abstract just before the series finale.
rather forget. And that past was likely getting his wife involved with the digital circus, which would eventually lead to her death through abstraction. This was based off of his appearance, his similarities to the character Theodore Mildenhall in one of the adventures, his competence with guns, and how other characters prod about the loss of his wife. We also speculated that he'd be the next character to abstract thanks to, and I kid you not, socks. Yeah, there are a pair of abstraction-themed socks on the Glitch store that use Kinger and Queenie's color schemes, so it just made sense. So, overall, I'm still really proud of this theory. I think it's really solid stuff, even if some of the smaller details might be off or need to change thanks to new information we've gotten since episode 3. Like, merch might not necessarily be the indicator of what Glitch plans to do with these characters like I thought at the time. I mean, they're selling plushies of Pomni dressed up as Jax, and Pomni is a hamster, stuff that is more symbolic or clearly non-canon, but just totally cute. And given that Jax seems to be on the brink of abstraction himself, well, Kinger might not be next on the chopping block, but I can still definitely see a future where this is the eventual fate for our lovable little chess piece. Now, looking back at all of these theories, what's panned out and what hasn't, it's got me thinking about how we can possibly move forward theorizing about this show. And I do have an idea. It mostly comes from something Gooseworks said recently about the series during a live stream, and specifically it was about what she expects the reaction to the next episode to be. Check.
I'm really excited for the reaction to that one.
It's gonna piss off.
It's gonna make people mad.
It's
only gonna piss off the right people.
Okay, so right off the bat, this could mean a lot of things. The people who could get mad at this upcoming episode could come from a wide gamut. Like, will it be Jax fans getting angry? There have been several camps of Jax stands that have swung back and forth at being angry and elated at the direction his character has gone. Or heck, maybe it could be people upset that he's gonna abstract. Or the people getting mad could be shippers, people who want Jax and Pomni to get together, or any other combination of characters.
Yeah, no, I actually talked with one of my friends who actually does ship Pomni and Jax, and I said, that relationship is so toxic right now that it would be doomed to fail. I mean, maybe if Jax could be a little more open and be real, maybe, but outside of that, no.
But another option I think is worth exploring here, well, what if the people who are going to get mad are theorists? Don't get me wrong, I don't think Gooseworks, or anyone else at Glitch for that matter, are making their shows with, like, me in mind, with these channels in mind. That's ridiculous, and I actually know for a fact that a lot of them avoid theory videos from creators here on YouTube so it doesn't influence their writing. And I don't want to come across as thinking that these creators are talking about literally us here in these actual clips. That's not my intention. No, but I think even if that isn't what they meant, theorists could have the same reaction to the next few episodes as what they've described here. Really, the big takeaway I've had after sitting and thinking about this series over the past year, seeing new episodes drop and all of the commentary from Gooseworks and the other creators, is I don't think there is going to be a big theory twist. There is no secret AI or hidden story. The Amazing Digital Circus is exactly what it says on the tin. It's a character-driven series dissecting its cast, their relationships with one another, and the drama that follows, all while they're tortured by their AI overlord Kane, which means that they're getting to know each other better, revealing things about their backstories that they clearly haven't before, and are growing as people because of it. Now,
not just that, but there was also a fan theory for a while about how Ragatha and Jax may be siblings. But again, that's literally just pulling it out of our ass. Only reason why is because something about Ragatha, something about a ranch or a farm, and then Jax being afraid of corn. Though then again, that is explained in the next episode. It's him having a trypophobia.
Don't get me wrong. I don't blame us online theorists for really jumping on this series. There were certainly a lot of seeds planted early on, and hell, even in recent episodes, that could grow into some crazy twist or unforeseen storyline that maybe, just maybe, you could suss out by putting the pieces together. But so far, the Amazing Digital Circus hasn't really seemed interested in following up on any of that. Well, at least the ones that aren't focused on character character moments like Kinger's backstory. But the big stuff, like the hints that we picked up that one of the main cast is actually an evil AI toying with the humans, or that there's an evil AI buried deep in the circus that wants to escape, those just aren't threads they've pulled on, nor do I expect them to as the series goes forward. Like at this point, it would be a really big turn into left field and probably make things worse for the overall story. And you know what? Good. That's a great thing. I mean, don't misunderstand. I love a good theory-driven show. I mean, just look at what channel you're on. But also, there comes a point in your life when you realize that not everything is a FNAF or a Gravity Falls. Not everything needs to have a secret story hidden beneath layers and layers of lore and puzzle solving. Sometimes it really is just that simple. And honestly, that's a breath of fresh air. Like, I thought going in that the Amazing Digital Circus was gonna be, like, lost with a bunch of mysteries to solve and theories driving the online conversation, but instead, we just got a good TV show. In retrospect, I think what I should have done with this series was really dig more into the characters. And I don't mean by trying to figure out, like, who's the evil AI spy or anything like that. I mean, trying to figure out their backstories or what issues they're dealing with. Just really do character studies on them, similar to what we did with Kinger last year, to see if we could figure out what the creators of the Digital Circus are saying with each of their cast members, instead of trying to make sense out of what they weren't saying. And you know, it might be worth going back and doing that now, examining this cast and doing some lore breakdowns and theorizing about each of them from there. You know, instead of going crazy with something just off the wall. So if you're interested in those, please let me know in the comments below. But until then, remember, the beauty of these channels is that it's always just a theory. A film theory. And cut. Up next.
Alright everyone, that's going to be the end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed this. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see y'all next time when we flick back on. Till then, this is Fox, signing out. Peace.